What's up? Right. I'm curious how many people actually show up when I don't actually, like, you know, announce anything. You're watching Earth Dawn? Sick. Right. Well, Jake, it looks like it's just me and you, buddy. All right. Let me know if the sound of the music is too good, you know, too high, too low. I'm still trying to figure out what a good balance is for that. Music a little high, okay. We'll go minus 24. We should be able to change that in here, right? All right, there we go. There we go. All right, so as why is that so big? Sheesh. Oh, there we go. Oh, we can change the size of it. Sick. Learning something new every day. So as a reminder, we're playing Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster. Last time we made our way from Cornelia, the capital of the, I guess, the Kingdom of Good, and we're told that we need to store the 4 crystals of the elements so that we can bring balance to the world. We then made our way east to the town of Pravoka, and we beat the tyrant Big, and we got his pirate ship. And then, of course, we are now trapped inside the Sea of Dreams. There's no way out. And we've made our way south here to Elftown. And we spent some time leveling up, but we didn't actually go into the Elven Castle. We hear that Astos' curse has put the prince into a deep sleep. He cannot awake. Thus, the title of today's episode, The Sleeping Prince. Speak of the devil. 5 years the prince has been sleeping. There must be a concoction. Hey, Remasi, thank you for the 6-month resub. Appreciate it. All right, it's a whole town of links. That's true. Yeah. The dwarves live in a cave on the western edge of the Aldean Sea. So that's actually the name of this inner sea. I always thought it was called the Sea of Dreams, but I guess it's called the Aldean Sea. Maybe they made that up for the Pixel Remaster. Or maybe not. Who knows? Oh, look at that. There's some sort of secret vault back there. Should check it out. Maybe there's some sort of broken thing that we can use. Oh, no, I accidentally left. I actually know it's locked, but, you know, it's fun to pretend. Oh, man, I suck. This is why I shouldn't be allowed to use the joystick. I know I'm probably really weird because most people probably totally are used to using that little joystick thing, but I have to use, like, the actual D-pad. So this is the second time we have encountered a treasure room, that has been locked with the mystical key. If only we could get the mystical key. All right, so we're going to kind of play through this like I actually don't 100% know what I'm doing. And so let's see here. We've got a big continent here in the southwest of this area. So let's go check it out. We see that there's some mountain ranges to our west, and there's a little bit of a valley that heads up north. So let's go check that out. Now, we're level 10, but I'd probably like to get to be about level 12 just to make it, easier for things. Oh, look at our mages doing work. All right. Now, that was a preemptive strike, so nice. Now, I still would like to get a little bit more money, a couple more spells, and definitely get some more magic potions before we proceed to the next part of the game, which for me is one of the toughest parts of the game. Let's take a look here. So I'm playing like I don't know what I'm actually doing. All I know is that the evil King Astos has put the elf to sleep, so I'm going to pretend like I need to go find this Astos fellow. Absolutely love that in this game that we use armor is basically damage absorption. I just think it's so delightful. I also agree, Jake. The ogre sprites are amazing. Look at that, 4-hit critical hit. I do wish Bob was picking up some more hit points. His hit point situation is a little low. Uh-oh, an ancient castle. It looks ruined and abandoned. Could this be the castle of Astos? It is the Western Keep. I do love how they do the mini-maps inside of the dungeons, how they kind of have this, like, parchment-like texture. Look at this terrible place. What could have befallen to it? Although it does seem to be some sort of dungeon. It doesn't seem to actually be a... Oh. I was tricked by Astos, king of the Dark Elves. And now my castle has fallen into ruin. If only I could retrieve the crown from the Marsh Cave, I would be able to restore my castle. Might you bring me the crown? Fetch quest. Oh, the chat is covering. Good point. Chat. There we go. Now you can see the mini-map. All right. Well, I don't know. Let's see if there's a way over there. Doo-doo-doo. Oh, check that out. Damn it. Another one with the Mystic Key. So we have to keep this in mind. There's a lot of places. We saw one in the Elf. We saw one in the original castle. All the castles apparently have vaults, which are secured with the Mystic Key. We really need to get this Mystic Key. So we have now officially been tasked with heading to the Marsh Cave. Now, the Marsh Cave is a particularly tough piece of kit. You know what? I just realized I forgot to tell people we were live. By the way, we are live also over on YouTube. In case anybody wants to check us out over there. Not that I don't think that anybody's going to be too much, but let me send it to my Discord. I almost went live while I was going live. All right. Go to sleep then. Also, isn't your race in 2 hours? What's up, Pumpkin? So yeah, so we are we are technically now supposed to make our way to the Marsh Cave. But I want to get, again, I want to get some more spells and magic, and I also want to get, I also want to get more potions before we go in there. So as a reminder, this game isn't a full reproduction of the original game. They've made some quality of life improvements, and some things they've made it easier. And unfortunately, Pumpkin, whichever one you watch, I don't really actually care. So one of the things that they made it easier with is they added in a bunch of premium items that never existed in the original game. And so I made the decision that I wasn't going to use those premium items. Now, I don't know. I doubt that they scaled the difficulty up to make it harder for me to do this. But we are going to treat those items as if they aren't there. Well, you know, I don't know. I don't necessarily have a disdain on easy. It's just, you know, I mean, the whole point of the game is to, you know, fight stuff and level up and try to be strong enough. And if you have all these auto win potions, it feels like it's pretty minimal. It is crazy how, you know, at third level you get access to the fire spell, and that's your first AoE spell in the game, and it's so pleasing to be able to wipe out all those monsters, and it just really reminds me of getting Fireball. Hey, Smith leveled up. All right, I like that stamina increase. Yeah, Fire looks really cool. Yes, Derek wants an attrition-based dungeon crawl. Yes, I do. I want an attrition-based dungeon crawl. So let's pop into the inn. I don't even know what our gold situation is. Sorry, our guild situation. Things are rather expensive here. We'll let Bob lead for a while. Oh, nice. There's a map inside the town, too. Interesting. Okay, cool. So we have 1,000 gil. And right now we are sitting on 5 potions. That heals 50 HP. We have 1 tent, which can partially restore our HP and MP. We have 3 antidotes. So, and we have a thing of chainmail. So antidotes help cure poison. Now the Marsh Cave where we're going to go does definitely have a fair amount of poison. So one of the things that we definitely want to make sure that we have enough of is cures, potions, and antidotes. Let's see how much they are. So we can buy a potion for 4. Now, so like, for example, in the original Final Fantasy on Nintendo, you had to buy 1 of these at a time. Now, this is what I was talking about. So this game has high potions. This game has ethers. This game has Phoenix Downs. These were never things that were in the original game. And so I am going to not buy them. If I acquire them through the game naturally, I guess maybe I might use them. I don't know. I'll probably just try to sell them, though. So normally in Final Fantasy, if someone dies in the combat, there is no item that you can use to bring them back. The only thing you can use is a spell, life, and there is no way to restore magic, full stop. There's no ethers, there's no elixirs, so none of this stuff existed in the original game. So we're going to buy 10. Now, I used to make it a policy that I did not go into the Marsh Cave until I had 99 potions. Jackal says, make silver sword. Yeah, so one of the big changes in the game is normally I am used to getting to this point in the game and grinding forever because there is a sword here that you can buy normally that is really expensive. It's 4,000 gil. And, well, quite frankly, they don't have it. And so instead of grinding till we get 4,000 gold just for the sword, we are gonna just hang out and kick ass. So we'll mess around here. We'll level up a little bit. I'll probably level till we get close to 99 potions or whatever, and then we'll try to hit up the Marsh Cave tonight. Shouldn't take too long, but I'm being overly cautious. Now, Jake, you've hit on something that is really important here, which is so the reason I play Final Fantasy 1, there is no story. I mean, for lack of a better word, there really is no story. I play it as a sort of form of, hey, look at that, we even got an antidote. I play it as a sort of form of ASMR. I like the grinding, as you put it. I'm not here to rush through the game. I'm not trying to speed run it. I'm not trying to, get to the cool cutscenes, because there are no cool cutscenes. I'm not here to, I'm here basically to just kind of go through the motions. I don't do it much anymore, but, I used to knit. I guess I still technically do know how to knit, but you see people all the time. They'll be like in a coffee shop or whatever, and they're just knitting while they're watching a movie or something like that. And they're just doing something to sort of pass the time. And that's basically how I view Final Fantasy 1 and playing. I like that the game doesn't distract me from, I don't know, just sort of, talking to you guys and thinking about ideas and stuff like that. I know it's very strange, but I just, my approach to video games is so, oops, wrong person, different than other people. So we're talking about, Pumpkin's talking about Beacon. The other reason I wanted to do this kind of thing for the channel was, to play Final Fantasy, but also so we could just hang out and talk about games, and ideas and stuff like that. Pumpkin said, I just got done watching the Beacon VOD, and now I really want to run it. So, notice Smith got paralyzed by the ghast. So, that is a ghast, by the way. Maybe I'll make my box a little smaller. There we go. So down here in the swamps is the Marsh Cave. Now, we'll take a step in, but I'm not mentally prepared to go through now. Notice how intense the music is. And again, we've got our mini map, which you never used to have before. I feel nervous. I need to switch back to Smith, our fighter. So again, normally in the game, you never had something like this where you could just look around and see, what was up. So like, for example, when you originally came to the Marsh Cave, now I know this because I've played it a million, trillion, billion times, that like if you go to the right there, it takes you nowhere. And if you go up to the left, that's the stairs down. But like normally, you just have to wander around. There's no mini map. And so here's a gray ooze. These things are overall pretty simple. They could poison you though. A lot of things in this dungeon can poison you. And the way poison works is it's a DOT. Every time your turn comes up in the combat, you take damage. But then the poison persists outside of combat, and you take hit point loss with each and every step you take. So it's pretty nasty. But again, these guys go down pretty simple. Hopefully, as long as Bob and Smith get their attacks off. So we'll do a little bit of exploring down here. Okay. Oh, there's another stairs down. Now we're down on B2. And again, like I said, I'm being abundantly cautious here. Your GP or your HP, yeah. Let's see here. I'm just reading chat here. Jackal says, hell yeah, Beacon. Thaddeus says, Beacon looks really awesome. I think I'll be able to play it with a group eventually since we're all on board, but we are all busy with other games. And yeah, so I knew that there was a Beacon Kickstarter. I tried to hype it up during the, during the stream, but I couldn't really find it. This is still too loud for me. There we go. And yeah, but it sounds like, okay, there was never a hardcover book. Okay, so yeah, definitely wanted to get a hardcover book. Ooh, we got shadows. Ooh, look at that, a miss. Now, one of the advantages that we do have with the Marsh Cave, it doesn't really matter in this fight, but we have access to a white mage, right? Amblade is our white mage. And so he has access to the Dia line of spells, which in the original game were called Harm. But those are basically especially effective against undead. In fact, they only do damage against undead, but it's an AoE, very powerful attack against undead. Basically kind of like a holy, turn undead type spell. Tarantulas, obviously, can cause poison, so we're good there as well. But this is a good source for experience points. Tough monsters in here, giving good gil. Oh, nice, Pumpkin. You've been you've been listening to the Andy Serkis Lord of the Rings book. Yeah, I finished the Lord of the Rings a little while ago, but now I'm on the Silmarillion, and it's amazing. So, what is up, Dirt the Mighty? For those of you who do not know, John Garibaldi is none other than Dirt, also known as Dirt the Master, aka what was his name? Stuart? I don't remember what was your hedgehog's name from our Root AP? Oh, look at that. See, Fireball is just never not satisfying. It's just so good. So this is another way to access level 2. Play around here a little bit. Ooh. All right, so this is a great example. By the way, Crawler is basically a carry-on crawler. Obviously, for, game purposes, it has to be something different. But it can paralyze, just like a carry-on crawler. So we're going to get some damage here, and then we're going to have her drop a Dia. That might take out these skeletons. Ooh, Bob just got paralyzed by the carrion crawler. So there, boom. White Mage took him out. And Bob has recovered from his paralysis. Nice, nice, nice. And then comes back with a solid flurry of blows. And that's it. That's level, we're getting close to level 12. Chest-contained dagger. What a rip. Now, again, my plan here is to go back to town. Ooh, tough fight. Let's deal with these Black Widows first. I'm going to drop a fireball just because I don't want to get poisoned. Nice. Ooh, nice. Nice. I love watching the fighter. Look. The fighter got hit for 1, and the Black Mage got hit for 53. That's craziness. Okay, there we go. Good job. Good stuff. All right. I don't want to push my luck too much. I'm a coward. But again, there's even a part of me that really appreciated and liked the idea. I know this is crazy. We talked about this the other day. Is like, I kind of don't even mind the idea of grinding in TTRPGs if it's that type of game. Obviously you're like, Derek, don't you love narrative games and you love all these games that are very... Yeah, I do. I love games that tell stories. But there's also, I think, a lot of fun to be had when you're at a point in time in your life. Like that's the main thing here is at a time in my life when I could just sit around with my friends on a Friday night and a Saturday night and run dungeons, and they could just go in there and explore stuff and poke around and kill things and get, XP and treasure. Like, that was a lot of fun. And it wasn't like we were trying to, accomplish any, major story goals. We were just, hanging out, getting levels and playing D&D. And, in some ways, that's kind of even the way that the game originally functioned. So, yeah, you're continuing. I mean, we're not going to do it, but I would totally not mind going back and taking a look at the game. Wait, so you already owned it? You just never looked at it? Oh, okay, there was a hard copy. It just sold out. Okay. Patches was Smith. Yes. Bob was he was a fox. I think he was named, Lucius. He was named after, I think, the fox from Zootopia. I think that's what it was. Yeah, exactly. Combat has to be quick. We're not grinding combats in Beacon, for sure. All right, well, Smith finally got to level 12. That's good. Look at that. Nice hit point up for Smith. Good. Look at that. Strength, intellect, luck. Intellect may not seem like it's really important for him because he can't cast any spells, and that's what intellect is used for. But remember, eventually Smith, as a warrior, will upgrade his class, prestige class, to knight. And knight is basically a paladin, and they do get white magic. So, So there was a discussion. Well, you know, I couldn't help myself, but like, sort of be like, hey, you know, it would be, I'm sure we could never get enough people, but, you know, and Pumpkin, obviously, you know, you and Jackal, you know, have a lot of experience in this respect. I really do think a Beacon mega game would be awesome. And I made a list in the Discord about why I thought that was. And, you know, some of the reasons were very practical. But some of them were also admittedly just completely based off of the type of person that would be attracted to that type of game. For example, you know, being able to really create these kind of crazy, you know, combo builds and have these really tough, extremely hard, like knockout type games. And so that's from like the player side. But Cinnabos, you are exactly right, which is being quest-based is a huge thing, because I think that's basically how people already essentially do things. Yeah, exactly, Pumpkin. See, like, you know, I always feel very, I'm very happy when, you know, people who know these games and play these games better than me, you know, play it. But yeah, that's exactly how most people play NR, is they make a single quest. The other thing is, and I know this is terrible to say, and I mean, Pumpkin, Jackal, please tell me if I'm wrong, but something like loot crates would go over so well in a mega game like that. And the reason I say that is because they work in, you know, games like Diablo and Path of Exile and all this other stuff. And people, you know, grinding sessions to get loot crates. Yeah, I mean, I think that would completely work. I mean, the only thing obviously we'd have to figure out is, you know, that, you know, we wouldn't be able to probably have you level up every time you do a quest, right? We'd have to figure out the level up part. But also too, like you don't die in that game. There's no penalty for death. And so that means that you are, if there's no penalty for death, then look at that. Everybody just got to 12. Finally, look at that. Bob, massive HP increase. Love to see it. Great level for our white mage. And, well, I'll take it. Now, the thing about it is, Cinnabos, you're absolutely right, because the point I made was, back in the day when we used to play D&D, we would always just do random, and I think that's part of the reason why maybe some people were disgusted, and we talked about it on the stream, and we talked about it afterwards in the Discord, and I was shocked by how many people had never done random magic item rewards, whereas for the vast majority of my entire life, our rewards have always been random. We'd use random loot rolls, random loot tables. Even when you would go to town, you know, we would randomly generate what magical items, if there were any, for sale. So our games have sort of been focused around random random magic items. And I think maybe that's why, you know, I was laughing, but for me, like the idea of a loot crate, it's actually kind of the best of both worlds, because it's, if I remember the rules correctly, I don't want this to turn into a Beacon stream, but you roll 3 items randomly, and the players pick one. So anyone who's ever played Magic the Gathering and has cast like Ponder knows that, you know, or played Hearthstone. I think Hearthstone has a lot of like give you 3 options, pick one, and that's because draw 3, pick one is like a fantastic amount of player choice, pretty much in almost any circumstance. In fact, even on my streams, a lot of times I'll talk about how, you know, you need to give people more than one option. 4 is too much, 2 is minimum, and 3 is ideal. So draw 3, pick one is like just, I mean, that's been around in Magic the Gathering since basically the beginning of time. So it's no shock to me that that's basically the base rogue builder. It's a modal spell. Exactly. Here are 3 options, pick one. Yeah, Discover. That's what it's called. Thank you, Derek. I knew they had a name. Discover is a fantastic mechanic. because it feels a little bit like a mini slot machine. It tests the player's choice, and it allows you to evaluate. It might be possible that, a great example of this is when you play Magic the Gathering. They don't have Discover as a magic mechanic, but like you might cast a spell. Ponder basically says, look at the top 3 cards of your library, pick one, put it in your hand, and then shuffle the rest. And then it says, and then if you don't pick one, you can draw one, but just ignore that. Well, maybe you draw a really awesome card, like a game-winning spell, but maybe it's early in the game and you just need to hit your land drops, or you just need more mana. Well, then you might take the island or the plains. Maybe it doesn't always just be like, oh, take the best one. There's a skill testing that occurs there, while at the same time giving you a lot of feeling of power and control over your situation, which I think is really, really, really important. Tickle my threshold a little bit. There we go. I'm just messing with my compressor settings. Okay. Yeah, it flattens out the variance, but in a satisfying way. And Derek, you're absolutely correct. And I do love cantrips like Ponder and Brainstorm, and they're very skill-testing cards. And I absolutely think that they are part of what makes Magic great, because, again, like Derek was saying, they help reduce the variance while still making it a fun discovery experience. Yeah, I mean, I think Discover is a fantastic mechanic. So, anyways, so the problem, as noted, random dice rolls, your players get a random piece of loot, and, it sucks. They're like, that's a crappy piece of treasure and gear. And I'm like, cool. Well, you get to pick 3 and pick your favorite, which is fine. And then if you're really upset with it, you can, I think you can use your downtime activity to redo it or something like that. All right, let's get. Okay. All right. Now we are level 12, but I wanted to get some more magic. We have just Cura and just Fyra. And we actually have level 4 spell slots, but we definitely cannot afford level 4 magic. It's like really expensive. Yeah, it's 2,500 a spell. Although it would be really nice to get Ice 2. Wow. All right. Pull. Get my pole up. Why can I never find the pole? There it is. All right. What should... All right. Poll is up. Remember, you can vote with a thing in chat by typing 1 or 2. All right. So I do think, given the game and my knowledge of it, I think we're going to have enough antidotes for sure. Although, like a nice even 30 would be nice. I would like some more potions, but I would just like, it just sucks because look at Hoyrit and Hamblade have 3 level 4 spell slots, and we have no level 4 magic. Actually, they have level 5 spell slots. We don't even have any level 4 spells. Can you imagine that in a modern day game? Actually, now that I think about it, that did happen once, because back in the original game, original D&D, you didn't get spells automatically when you leveled up. And I remember we were playing a game of basic, I think, D&D, and someone's wizard was level 3, and they had level 2 spell slots, but they didn't know any level 2 spells. And I think back then, I don't remember if you could use your level 2 spell slots to take level 1 spells, but I think we made a house rule because we agreed it was so shitty that he couldn't afford any spells, he didn't have any access to level 2 spells, so we let him use his level 2 spell slots to take level 1. But that may have been a house rule. I don't even think that's note. So Anyways, oh, it's very close. Keep grinding for Gil as the advantage. So we'll wait till we get to 10 votes. So if you haven't voted, throw your vote in chat. I gotta save. All right, I will go back to the Marsh Cave though. Uh-oh, 5 votes. Okay, we'll grind for Gil for a while then here. No, we're ambushed. So Jackal says for bacon reaches, we could probably do leveling up by week like NR, but maybe let players unlock more classes via games. Oh. Okay, Jackal, explain what you mean by that. Pumpkin says the interesting thing about Beacon is that it's tier-based, so maybe players automatically increase tier at a certain time and point rather than just level. Yeah, we talked about doing that for dagger reaches when we were, playing around with the idea of dagger reaches, which was the idea of, it's a tier-based game, especially if we did it, quote-unquote, Derek style, and we actually had a 12-level game, and just letting people level up, but then at a certain point, making everybody go up to, automatically go to the next tier. Because the game in Daggerheart, you get a little bit of an advantage for being a higher level. You get, your damage thresholds go up by 1, you get an extra card, you get an extra advancement, so you might take an extra hit point slot or an extra cess slot. But the core proficiency of the game and your tier, some things is based off your tier, is obviously the same whether you're level 3 or you're level 4. So presumably, and all the monsters are tied to tier 2. But I believe in Beacon that is also true, that all the monsters don't have a level, they just have a tier. So assuming it's a 12-level game, there's 3 tiers. Presumably, if you're level 4 or you're level 1, you are fighting a tier 1 creature. So I don't know. I mean, there's definitely an element. Let me put it this way: a lot of for those of you who played Northern Reaches, head to the Marsh Cave properly. All right, well, it's winning. So I guess we're gonna have to do this here. All right, we'll see how far we get. I'll just attack. All right. There's a crit. There's a crit. That is not a crit, but good hit from our white mage. God, I love watching the fighter take 1 hit point of damage. It's so satisfying. I'm sorry, but, we talk about play experience all the time. And I have to say that the problem, and this is it's so obvious that it sounds ridiculous, but the thing about armor in D&D and Pathfinder is it does nothing in the sense that, like, obviously the monster might miss you, but then when they hit you, right, it's like your armor doesn't exist. And I know that's not fair, because obviously your armor does do something. It changes your, it changes your odds of being hit, but it doesn't necessarily feel that way, right? And exactly, Nilbog, your armor makes you dodgier. That just feels so weird. And when in fact in this game, as we could see here, I'm wearing leather armor, and if I remove it, right, my evasion is 27%. My defense is 4. 4 is basically, defense is how much, damage I take off. It's not exactly like it takes off 4. But if I equip the armor, you can see that my defense goes from 4 to 28, and my evasion drops to 18%. Jake, I do love the Daggerheart armor system, because it feels very, like, evasion feels like, okay, I'm duck, dodge, dip, dodge, weaving, and I like the idea that you can make, like, an evasion-based build. And where do we need to go? Okay. Two. All right. But yeah, I definitely think, ooh, we got a blood bones. All right, I'll use a Dia here. Ooh, by the way, note that the crawler did 6 hits, right? Because like a carrion crawler, it, like, you know, it has a multi-attack thing because it does all these. Ooh, Smith just got hit for 36. Yikes! Look at these things doing damage. Look at this thing's working us. And Bob got paralyzed. Look at this thing taking damage. Oof. Oh, Jesus! This thing is brutal. Look at all that. Look how much gil and XP we got for that fight, though. That was nice. But we did get messed up there. Wow. See, this is why Derek wanted more potions. So yeah, I prefer. But so Cinnabon says, I kind of feel like evasion was a trap in Daggerheart. I could see it, Cinnabos. Only because the you know, the monsters do have a very high to hit. And so like putting a point or two in doesn't really matter. I mean, obviously it's an all or nothing type thing. And so, yeah, I mean, I get it. But at the same time, I think that's also one of the reasons I would like it to be rollable. Because if you could roll it, then number one, it feels better because, you know, you get more control over it. Number two, you could use your, you know, hope points to add experiences to the roll. You know, potentially your allies might be able to help you or something like that. But I agree with you in general. I think evasion is... I don't want to say it's a trap. By the way, we did get poison there. Scorpion. I don't want to say it's a trap. I just think it's like you can't expect to have a build that literally... Ooh, 1,180 gil. You just literally can't expect to get the kind of build that is going to get missed all the time. It's just not... It's just not a reality. Like you're gonna get hit. Even if you have a high evasion, you know, you might get hit, you know, 50% of the time instead of 70% of the time or whatever. So I think that you always have to keep that in mind that, you know, you're gonna have to have some need for armor. So again, I don't know if it's a trap, but it does feel not as good as it could potentially. I'll say that. Ooh. Doing work. So Jackal said, instead of getting a full level up every quest, only grant the increasing of rank in a class. Max rank gated by tier or whatever. Then the rest of the stuff could be given every 3 weeks or other. I don't think I don't think I understand, Jackal. I still don't think I understand. Maybe I'm not beaconing well enough. Fuck these guys. These guys hit hard, and they poison. They usually hit for 2 hits. Look at that. Bob just took 51. Jeesh. At least they go down easy enough, I guess. Ooh, there's another 1,120 gil. I guess I should use a potion on Bloody. All right, well... This was a bonus level. Oh man, another one of these fucking blood bones. I gotta take this guy out. Oh, but he does so much damage. Hmm. All right, I'm gonna try something here. Use a fire spell. Come on, get it off early. Oh, that's nice. Nice. That's what we like to see. You make a thread. All right, sounds good. Yeah. Again, I don't know how many people would play it. I thought I saw Karamak in here. Jesus, these blood bones. Oh, that could have been brutal. 7 hits. Should have stacked up my damage. But anyways, I thought I saw Karamak in here earlier. I would imagine Karamak would absolutely love bacon reaches. There we go. Everybody got a level. Yeah, Jake, that's a great point. In fact, one of the things that we talked about in Northern Reaches season 3 that we didn't really implement is the idea that characters would have a very limited number of slots, and because no matter what cool equipment you get, it's limited by your job select. No matter what cool technique you get, it's limited by your job select. It means that, yeah, there's always a certain, you can have choices, but you can't just equip everything. Like if your character has like a really awesome cloak and a really awesome pair of magic boots and a really awesome suit of armor and a really awesome, okay, well, your character only has 2 item slots. So, what you get to take 2. Depending on what job you have. Our fighter finally needs healed, by the way. And what do they always say? The best place for water in the desert is in you. All right, we'll go. Top them off. All right. Now, to be fair, I am doing the Marsh Cave proper. Okay, I'm just cheating a little bit because we went down into the other side to get the bonus loot. So now we're going to go back and buy more items, and then we're going to go back. Triple level up. By the way, the reason why the fighter levels up first is because everybody else has at some point in time died, and the fighter has never died. All right, it's time to nuke these motherfuckers. That's a level 1 spell, by the way. Anyways, I don't know how many people we would actually get for a game like that, and I have no idea what the Foundry options are like. That's the other big thing. I mean, Pathfinder 2 and even like Draw Steel, I mean, I haven't played on Codex yet, but I've heard it's really good, is the advantage that you get there is huge in that it's actually playable and usable. A game like Beacon has a lot of moving parts, but I do think it'd be fun, and I do think it's structured well to work for the way that a lot of people like playing their Pathfinder 2 type games, or 4th edition type games or whatever. Especially if you enjoy the sort of really, really hyper, challenge-based play. Now obviously Daggerheart is or Dagger Reaches is a very different set of circumstances. Dagger, doing a Daggerheart mega game is more about, embracing, it's definitely not about the challenge-based play. That is not about 3-hour-long combats, right? That is more about fun storytelling and world building and, that element of the game first and foremost. Not saying that stuff wouldn't be present in a Beacon Megaheart, but, Daggerheart, leaning into what the game is about, right? I have some good money. All right. Hit up the inn. One likes bacon and one likes daggers. Yeah, I mean, I would agree. They are very different game. I mean, in both games you get cool powers and abilities, right? But all right, we've got 6,000 gil, so we are cooking with gas now. So let's see what we can get Do we need anything else for level 3? I don't think so. I'm going to hold off for right now. We don't need the AoE thunder damage. AoE fire is enough. And I don't think we need... Ooh, heal's not bad. Diara is not bad either. I'll take Diara. Just have a mega ultimate undead blasting spell. Undead can be very nasty, especially here in the Marsh Cave when they do all this paralyzation nonsense. And let's... Okay. All right. Now we got 99 potions. And we get 1 4th level spell. We can afford 1 4th level spell. Poison cures poison, but we've got antidotes. We don't need that. We don't need Null Frost. We don't need Fear. We don't need Fox. All right. Sorry, White Mage. No level 4 spells for you. KC, we're just about... We hit up the sub level on the Marsh Cave to get the bonus treasure chests. And we're going to pick up... Oh, now, Haste is probably the most powerful spell in the entire game. And we will get it eventually. And what Haste does is it doubles an ally's attacks. This is very strong against boss monsters. But right now, it's not something that we really need. I'm going to pick up Blizzara, which is the AoE ice damage. In this game, fire and lightning are basically level 1 and level 3. And then ice is level 2 and level 4. So ice is a little bit more damage. And the reason is because I just want more access to more AoEs. Because if we get into a fight where randomly we are encountered with, 8 or 9 monsters on the screen, it can be tough. All right. So we're level 13. We cleared out the sub level of the Marsh Cave. So now we're going to go back and we're going to get in. We're going to do the Marsh Cave. And then our goal tonight will be to go get the crown from the Marsh Cave, restore Astos to his rightful spot, that pesky dark elf. Oh, gee. Hope we don't get betrayed. Yeah. Yeah, drop him. Look at that. The ogre did 1 point of damage to our fighter. It's so satisfying. 1 is obviously the minimum. I've not been a player in Daggerheart yet. Oh, that is a nasty fight. We'll fight it, but... Oh, nice. They're running away. So, as a reminder, in the way that Final Fantasy 1 is configured, whoever is in your top spot, so in this case, our fighter Smith, they get attacked randomly 50% of the time. Whoever is in your second position, in this case, Bob, our monk, they get hit or they get targeted 25% of the time. And then who's ever in slots 3 and 4, which is our 2 mages, they get targeted 12.5% of the time. So on a D8, 1 through 4 hit Smith, 5 and 6 hit Bob, and 7 hits the white mage, and 8 hits our black mage. All right, here we go. Oh, nice preemptive strike. I don't remember if shadows can paralyze you. I don't think they can. Maybe they can. I think they're just a basic undead. I don't think they can paralyze you. Hopefully we won't even find out. Oh, nice, Thaddeus. Yeah, so so for those of you who missed the stream, it's right here. We completed our Moria Delve 2 Deep Fund, And in this book, there is an extensive 40-page mini supplement, basically, written by Sean Tompkin, who did Ironsworn. And it's about, it's a solo play rules for the One Ring. But the thing is, One Ring already had solo play rules. It was called Strider mode. But this is a little bit different. This is a mode where you play as a dwarf leading a group of other adventurers, dwarves, who you've recruited to help you as part of the campaign to take back Moria. And so I don't know if it's I don't think it's 5 leagues beyond the Borderlands. Although, by the way, that is something I really want to get into as I start getting back into miniature hobbying. Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, it's more of a group solo play, if that's such a thing. In any case, it's got rules for all that, but I want to play it with chat. So we're going to kind of create our own variant of rules for that. All right, so we're here on B2 properly, and we got a bunch of rooms, and we got treasure chests all over the place. Now, again, normally you don't get to see this, but, you know, hey, we have access to it, so we might as well. Plus, I already know all this stuff, so no surprises for me, unfortunately. I gotta love those preemptive strikes. One of the reasons that it can be really nice to actually have a thief is if you have a thief in your top position, you get a lot of these preemptive strikes. And in a game where most combats probably take 3 rounds, getting a surprise, or maybe even 2 rounds, getting a surprise attack off is very powerful. So in getting a preemptive strike in this game is based off of your luck stat. And the thief character, which we don't have a thief, gets the highest luck. Now, originally in Final Fantasy 1, the thief class was kind of broken, and its stats didn't scale very well. So I'm not really actually that used to playing with thieves. I did play with one once just because I wanted a ninja. Ninjas are a lot better, but you have to play with a shitty thief to get to them first. Not that, you know, that's impossible, but oof, 59. There we go. So apparently, with Thief being, we just got an achievement. We've defeated 300 monsters. With the Thief being correctly working in this version of the game, they actually have a really good evasion. And so while they will never have the kind of armor that the fighter has, they should, in theory, be missed a lot more. Now, you'll also notice as we're playing through that a lot of times in a lot of these fights, I'm just having my white mage and my black mage just attack anyways, because it's not worth it to cast a spell, and we're just going to have them fight. And you can see they're shitty at that, right? Like, they're obviously not good at fighting. And so there's a lot of, I don't want to say a lot, but there's a logic and reasoning behind saying, well, if your black mage and your white mage, can we equip that? A broadsword. I'm already wielding a broadsword. If your white mage and your black mage are mostly just going to be attacking anyways, why not replace them with a class that can actually attack fairly well? And you might say, well, because I want access to magic. Well, there's a class called the Red Mage, which is fairly proficient at fighting and fairly proficient at magic. Now, the Red Mage, which eventually becomes the Red Wizard, does fall off at the end game. Full stop. And in the original NES version, the intellect stat was broken. In this game, the intelligence stat or the int stat actually works, which means that your heals and your damaging spells are stronger the more int you have. So in the original game, when the int stat didn't do anything, a red mage's spells were just as powerful as a black mage's spell. That is not the case anymore. And so now, you know, if you have a red mage or a versus a black mage, you are going to definitely notice that the power level of your spells is going to kind of, you know, drop off a little bit as the game goes on. But Fuck these. All right, here we go. We'll go here, here. Let's go that. I want to see what this level 3 harm spell can do. Look at our fighter tanking tanks. All right, come on. Level. Oh, massive turn on dead, and we love to see it. So, any case, you know, there's a thought process behind having like a fighter, a thief, a red mage, and the nice thing about a fighter, thief, red mage is they can all fight very well, and then at the end of the game, your red mages become red wizards, and they will get access to most of the higher level black and white magic. But your fighter becomes a knight who gets access to white magic, and your thief becomes a ninja who gets access to black magic. And most importantly, they get access to level 4 black magic, and level 4 black magic has access to haste or fast. And it is arguably the best and strongest buff in the entire game. So, you know, for a lot of times at the end of the game, the first thing you're going to be doing is casting haste on your characters anyways. So you get access to some of the best spells in the game. And that could be a very effective party, let me tell you. All right, so now we're on B3. Treasure chest. So far, this hasn't been too bad. We're high enough level. I like our chances. You'll also see that the fighter, sometimes he is attacked, and oh, I didn't even notice these were slimes. All right. So green slimes are basically immune to physical attacks. I was talking to you guys, so I'm gonna have to use a fire spell. Now, what I really should do is run away from these guys. It's not really worth it. They don't have a lot of hit points, but they basically are immune to physical damage. I should have run away. I just wasn't paying attention. Oh, Phoenix down. Officially, we don't have those. What D&D module adventure is B3? B4 is Lost City. B2 is Keep on the Borderlands. B1 is In Search of the Unknown. B3... No. Silver Palace? Oh, Power Made Flesh. Palace of the Silver Princess. Sick. Nice. Oh, we got a level up there, too. And we almost still got fucking... We're running out of antidotes, by the way. I don't know if you noticed that. This is an annoying fight. Nice work, Bob. Nice work, Smith. Yeah, so when we first fought those green slimes, I thought they were gray oozes, and I was just attacking them normally, not realizing that they were already slimes. And there's the other 3 people in the party leveled up. Everyone's 14. Let's take a look what we got. Bob with an absolute massive level up. Strength, agility, stamina, and luck all increased. Great. Blade, shitty one. Got a good hit point roll, but no stats. And Black Mage needed those hit points and really got a nice intellect boost and stamina boost. Those are the 2 stats I want. Those are the only 2 stats I want. I'll take agility too, but stamina and intellect for our Black Mage is all I want. Just... 10:45. Gil? Oop. All right. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I don't know how streamers who just stream nonstop, do it. I do it every day. Like, I love, you know, the games I you know, like Magic the Gathering stuff. But I don't know how people, I mean, those are like the only, I don't even watch the streamers. I watch like their, you know, their replays or whatever. So we've got all these rooms to check. And then I think this one has the stairs down here in the bottom. Energy drinks. Oh no. B3 is the controversial one, Power Made Flesh. The original art cover featured a naked lady. And so, yeah, a little controversial. Then they released a new cover that was not nearly so controversial. I don't remember or recall if there was anything specifically controversial about the module itself. As I recall, it was mostly the cover. But you never know with those old modules. You never know if there was like some randomly super racist, rapey thing going on in it. We should have brought more antidotes. Ooh, cottage. Don't poison me, bro. Damn it. Copper armlet. Nice. So this crushes our defense, but it helps our evasion. And we're not going to give anything to him, so we'll give it to our black mage. Nice. Power Made Flesh. Interesting. I did not know that. That is one of the original modules I have never run. I've run Lost City. I've run Night's Dark Terror. I think that's B6. I've run In Search of Unknown. I've run Keep on the Borderlands about 1 million times. Ugh, ambushed. Rough. Poisoned. We are getting poisoned. Oh my god, double poison? Jesus Christ. I knew we didn't bring enough antidotes. Told myself, don't have enough antidotes. I was being cocky. I'm paying the price. Gee. Pisco Demon. All right. Here we go. So the Pisco Demon is a couple of fun notes about these things. The Pisco Demon used to be called a wizard. Why? Nobody knows because it didn't cast spells. But these are mind flayers, obviously. You know, it's hard to tell maybe from the pixelization, but they are squid-headed monsters. And like our friend, the Mind Flayer, they hit hard and they can paralyze you, and it can be a really, really nasty thing. Again, originally in the game, FF1, they were called wizards. Now, you get a random number here. I think you can fight between like 3 and 8. So we got actually really lucky. So we are going to legally distinct ectomonsters. That's correct. Notice the hard hit. 88 and 91. 25. Well, that invis came a little late. Thanks, Hamblade. Oh, at least, you know what? He got off the ice. It's 1 down. All right, 2 down. I guess we'll try to keep our white black mage up. Ugh. Okay. Whew. We did it. We got the crown. All right. Now, I don't remember what's in these other rooms, but we're going to check them out anyways because we got enough potions. And if things get, you know, if things get saucy, if things get nasty, we can always head for the surface. But I don't want to miss any good treasure. What's up, pumpkin? So that basically, I'm not gonna lie. There's a number of times that I've played this game where I wipe on that fight. Now I am playing, you know, whatever. What version of the game is this? Pixel Remaster. I'm playing on a PC. So if I wanted to, I could have quick save before I fought that. But like I said, along with the X potions and stuff like that, I am not going to be using the quick save option. You can't save inside of a dungeon. So in the original game, so I am not doing that here either. So we're keeping our integrity intact. Please stop giving me potions and start giving me antidotes so we can make sure things. They can instantly kill in the original, if you recall. Power Made Flesh, no, I don't think they can instantly kill. I don't believe so. So there's a room all the way at the bottom of this dungeon, which is secured with the Mystic Key. Gargoyle, by the way, one of my favorite monsters in Dungeons and Dragons. It's one of the first monsters that you really fight that has such a cool suite of powers and abilities. You know, its ability to turn to stone usually has some form of D&D 3rd edition. It had yeah, that white mage was punching. I don't know what happened to their hammer. They have some kind of damage reduction in 3rd edition, and I love that they usually have like a claw, bite routine. All right, we're gonna take these guys out the same way we did last time with a diarrhea. It does look like diarrhea. Oh, there's no doubt, Power Made Flesh, that the Mind Flayer enemy can just rip your head out. Also secured with the Mystic Key. Wow, I didn't remember that. I remember there was one room secured by the Mystic Key. I didn't know there was 2. We will have to remember this place and fight our... And by the way, there's like no fast travel. We'll have to go all the way back down into this dungeon to get it. All right. Is this also one? Are they all secured with the Mystic Key? I guess they all are. All right, let's run it back. I mean, look, if they're going to throw all these undead at us, you know, it's like it reminds me of one of my favorite parties that we ever had in EverQuest. It was like a secondary set of characters, and Smith had a cleric, a dwarf cleric, and I had an Ixar Shadow Knight. And I just remember we would only go to, and we had other people in the party as well, but we would only go to zones where we would fight a lot of undead. We had somebody who was a paladin. So we had a Shadow Knight, a paladin. I think it was my girlfriend at the time. I think she was a paladin, I was a Shadow Knight, and Smith was a cleric. And we would just go to like a State of Unrest, and we went to Mistmoor. We went to all these places where you fight undead. We would go to when they introduced Lost Dungeons of Norath. If you ever played in that expansion, we went to the dungeon that had all the undead. I don't remember which undead, which was it, Catacombs of Mistmoor, maybe? I don't know. One of the dungeon types had. By the way, that's my favorite expansion of all time, of any game ever, is LDON, Lost Dungeons of Norath. Anyways, and we would just fight undead monsters because everybody in our party was really good at fighting undead. We could all lure undead, we could calm undead, we could charm undead, we had bonus spells versus undead. It was awesome. We didn't have a necromancer, actually, now that I think about it. All right. By the way, Hoyrit picked up another point of int. Love to see it. All right, so all 4 of these are... all right. That's a hot take. LDON best X-Pack. Oh, by far, hands down, not even close. I loved LDON. Like whole D&D campaigns that Smith made were basically based off of LDON. So for those of you who don't know, Lost Dungeons of Norath was basically a expansion that introduced procedurally generated random dungeons to I'm gonna fuse a level 4 spell on these guys. I mean, I guess I could just flee, but it introduced random procedurally generated dungeons to EverQuest. They were themed around like different. Oh, come on, you stupid bat. They were themed around different ideas. Like one was based off of one was like an ice menagerie. Another one was this like desert where you fought these orcs, like the orcs of the Rajurkin Hills. There was like Menegal's Magnificent Menagerie. There was the Catacombs of Mistmoor, and it was so cool. And they introduced all these cool new spells. They tried to put like traps and like detecting traps and finding traps into the game. It didn't work that well, admittedly, but it was awesome. These scorpions. All right, I think we're gonna make it. Famous last words. I mean, I can tell you that it wasn't Plains of Power. I actually really hated what Plains of Power did to the game. Like, I thought Luckland was cool. I mean, I don't know. Again, I mean, I'm an old school guy. Like, I remember having to go to the tunnel in East Commonlands, right? Where people just had to sit there and trade. And I thought that was so cool. And so when they introduced like the bazaar in Luckland, you know, when they introduced the portal books in POK and you didn't have to rely on, you know, getting ports from wizards and druids and stuff anymore as much, you know, it just lost some of the, you know, it lost some of the fun. Obviously, Kunark was awesome as the first expansion. So Kunark is really cool. I thought Scars of Valios was okay. Tower of Frozen Shadows, which is, from Valios, is one of my favorite dungeons, or someone's poison. Dungeons or whatever zones in the game. But I'm trying to think of other expansions. Now, I admittedly was not, you know, I didn't play a ton of EverQuest after, you know, World of Warcraft and EverQuest 2 came out. I've only been back to the game a couple of times. I mean, like, I enjoyed the addition of, whatever they're called, companions or hench people. You know, your companion, whatever they're called. They're not called henchmen. What are they called? Apprentice, journeyman. I don't remember what they're called, but basically you can hire mercs. Thank you, Jackal. Yeah, you can hire mercenaries, which are basically like super powered NPCs, and it just like makes like solo playing the game a lot easier. So I'm using a tent here. This is a way to get back not only my hit points, but some of my spell slots as well. So, and now that we are above ground, we will save. So we have the crown, which is what that king sitting in that ruined castle said we had to return to him. I'm sure he's definitely a king. Look how many more hit points my my white mage has than my monk. My white mage has almost as many hit points as my frickin' fighter. That's funny. All right, so let's top off our HP. Save. All right, let's go fight. Nobody, because this is clearly just a old king who's had his crown stolen. Uh-oh, he's laughing. That can never be good. Oh, it's a mwahaha. You fools! You fell right into my trap. I am Astos, king of the Dark Elves. Sick. Those graphics. With the combined power of the crown you now hold and the crystal eye I already possess, I will become the true elf king. It is useless to resist me. I can take what is mine by sheer force. All right, we're fighting Astos. No, our fighter got slowed. Ugh. Savage. Now, unfortunately, well, we don't have haste. Jake, no, our black mage is wearing a hat. Our black mage is carrying this fight. Did it even hit yet? No, not really. All right, well, we're out of... I guess we'll temper. He's wearing like no, I think that is a hat. Temper is a damage buff. There we go. Dude. 2,000 gil, 2250 XP. Let's rock it. All right. And we have obtained the Crystal Eye. Bob carried that one really, really, really hard. So good carry on Bob. To be fair, Hoyrit, our black mage, also did like 250 damage or something like that fight. So off of his magic spells. So good on him. Actually, I have magic for this. Now, if you recall, and you better, because there's no other way in this game that they would tell you anything else. Near the very beginning of the game, we visited the cave of Matoya, the wizard or the witch, and she told us, I can't see anything without my crystal eye. That dang Astos, the dark elf, stole it from me. And now we have the crystal eye. So we know now, again, back in the day with this game, if you, for whatever reason, didn't remember that, or if you didn't ever go to her cave, if you went straight to Provoca and, you know, never found her cave, you would have no idea basically what to do. And you would have to either sail around and until you figured out what the hell is going on, or hope you get lucky, I guess. And so obviously in this version of the game, I am not talking to everybody, but a lot of the NPCs just drop you these random little nuggets of information, and you are supposed to remember that. Oh, what's up, Cal? All right. So let me go stay at the inn. I guess I can go stay at the cheap. Well, I'll just go stay here because I need spell slots. Note that when I stayed in the tent, it didn't fully restore all my magic. Only a cottage, which I suppose is like a more, you know, it's not like a literal cottage on your back. I like to think of it as like a one-use scroll of Mordenkainen's magnificent mansion. That's the only way you get all of your spells and all of your hit points back. Okay. How dare you? So you'll notice that sometimes the fighter will be missed, but it's like little shield animation will come up. That's because if you have a shield equipped, you kind of get a bonus chance to like parry an attack. So not only do you have your base chance of evasion to like dodge an attack, but then if you're wearing a shield, you get this bonus chance to sort of dink, you know, deflect the attack as well. All right, we're back on our ship. We're fighting some Sahagin, which are, of course, legally distinct Sahagin. But these guys should go down pretty quick. Exactly, obvious. That would have hit, but, however, a magical shield of energy. So what Obvious is saying is a joke, which he wasn't even around for. But when we played 4th edition, my buddy Ross, who had never played MMOs, had never played RPGs before, really, but he really excelled at them because he's a smart guy and he wasn't like a power gamer, but he just, you know, he really embraced the rules and had an idea and kind of built for it. And he had a wizard, an Eladrin wizard, and he just basically took like every defensive power he could. And so it just became a joke because every time I would hit him, he had all these immediate interrupts. And so like I'd hit him and he'd be like, that would have hit. However, a magical shield flares into existence and deflects the blow. And then I'd be like, okay, that's an encounter power. It's done. So then I'd hit him again and he'd be like, that would have hit. However, a swirling cloud of mists appears. And the attack misses. And then like I try to hit him a third time to like wear through all of his defenses. And he goes, that would have hit. However, I teleport and appear 2 squares away and the attack misses. And it just became a joke that he basically could never be attacked. Or never been hit. Throwing attacks all over the place here now. Now, obviously these are sea creatures. If my character did have Bolta and could AoE lightning damage, that would be more effective. But we never picked that spell up, so. Oh, we went the wrong way. So there's a port here, but that port takes us to the dwarves. We are not ready to go see them yet. We could have gone and seen them, but it wouldn't have done us any good. So again, like if you're normally playing this game, you might be like, oh, cool, look at this. What's over here? And you explore it, and you're like, oh, look, there's a cave. And you go inside of it, and there's a bunch of dwarves, and you're like, what's going on? Well, no, Derek, it wasn't 3 uses. It was 3 separate encounter powers. Jake says, I'm still thinking about how many cool defensive mage classes Beacon had. I mean, that Aegis class was like everything I want. I'm not going to lie. I tried not to get too distracted by it, but yeah, that class was awesome. Look, Nilbog, we're not here for the realism, okay? Actually, if anything, a fireball, which is a sudden burst of flame, would do nothing on a sea-soaked ship like this. It'd be more likely to affect it if you were doing anything else. All right, when the black mage goes first with the Fyra on the low hit point creatures before they even get to go, that's fantastic. All right. All right, black mage, can you do it again? No. 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 All right, you're literally going last. Hey, look at that. Ooh, nice. Strength and luck. We love to see our fighter actually getting luck because we have our fighter, our warrior, in our top slot, and that means we're going to get better chances to get preemptive strikes where we ambush the enemies, and we're going to avoid being ambushed, which is where they get a free round of going before we get to go. Also, his strength, fantastic, and of course, a nice hit point up. Smith is now over 300 hit points. All right. Now we're back in the literally near the very beginning of the game. So these monsters are obviously going to be complete jokes. Back to fighting goblins. You know, and again, this is something I talk about sometimes on my streams where, you know, the game necessitates that we go back to this point, and we're going to be in our mid-teens when we do. But it can be fun. I mean, in that case, those are literally the easiest monsters in the game. But I think it can be fun for players. I think this is something that, like, modern games like PF2 and stuff don't do a good job of doing, which is going back to, you know, those earlier parts of the game and, you know, fighting monsters that used to be, like, really scary and just completely destroying them. Oh, what's this? My crystal eye? Give it here. Don't worry. Take this potion. It's the most amazing potion. And we get the Jolt Tonic. Now, obviously, this is very, very clearly coded to wake up the Elven Prince because it's called the Jolt Tonic. But in the original game, it was just called the Herb, the magic herb. And she can see again. And I wonder if... That's great. You're still here? I don't need you anymore. Get out of here. You're not as attractive as I thought you'd be. That's sick. Wow. We help her out, and then she fucking... now, by the way, we have almost 14,000. That's right, Jake. I've talked about this a lot. That, you know, if you use, like, games that have elite standards and minion rules, you can have a monster that they fight early as an elite, and then you fight it again in tier 2 as like a standard creature, and then you fight at the end game as a minion. In theory, Pathfinder 2 works that way because you could fight ogre or a troll, say, as which is a level 5 monster, I think, level 6 monster in PF2, right? You could fight that as a solo monster, you know, as a PL +4 or PL +3, and you could fight that at level 2, you know, and that would be really scary. But then you might fight a couple of trolls at level, 6 or 7. And then at like level 10 or 8, you might fight 8 trolls. The problem is that when you're fighting 8 trolls, they are just as complicated, and they are the same monster that they were when you were fighting it as a solo. And while the stats of the game, the actual raw stats of the game, make that work, the problem is the monster doesn't necessarily have the action economy, the powers, the interest, or the simplicity needed to truly run it at that scale. And that's my main problem with PF2, is while you can use that troll as a boss monster, as a standard monster, and as a quote-unquote minion monster, and the math of the game supports that. What the math of the game doesn't support is that I want solo monsters to not just have different stats. I want them to have different abilities. I want them to manipulate the initiative differently. I want them to have, more AoEs and more abilities to, recover from being, locked down. Whereas the opposite is true, right? With a minion, I want minions to be extremely simple, and I don't want to have to track a variety of conditions and abilities and having a bunch of multi-attacks and all this other stuff. So it's it's kind of a complicated set of situations or circumstances here. That it works, but it doesn't work. Now, the good news is it means that if you get a troll in Pathfinder 2, you can use that monster, from level 2. Let's say the troll's level 6. You can use that troll from level 2 all the way up, technically, to like level 10. So that's almost half the game that you can use that monster. How often that practically works is a subject to be debated. No, we did not, Jake. We basically didn't even touch the game mastering section really much at all. I know that the game is all about building monsters, I think, rather than having a list of monsters built. So that could be a pain in the ass for some people. All right, let's see how our other 3 people did as they get to level 16. Bob, again, trailing behind badly in the hit points. He picks up intellect. Intellect really doesn't matter for Bob. Bob never means to be a smart guy. I just need Bob to be smart and tough. Blade picked up luck. Also doesn't really matter. Hoyrit picked up stamina, intellect. That is a great level up for us. Shitty roll for the hit points, though. All right, so let's go wake this Elven Prince up, shall we? But before we do, let's go get some spells. All right. I'll buy Thundera. And I don't really need these, so I'm going to save my money. I mean, I'll eventually get all of his spells that he has access to, but right now money is still kind of important and precious. So I'm only going to get ones that I really need. Okay. Well, Cal, elves, like in Tolkien, right? Elves, mostly you live in houses and in caves, actually. The only elves that live in the trees are the Galadrim of Lorien. And that's very kind of special and unique. Those are the only elves in historical Tolkien that live up in the trees. All right, well, we're going to pick up haste now. And we really don't need any of these other ones. Confuse can be fun, but it's not really worth it. Again, we'll eventually pick it up, but it's not very good. And what do we get from level 4 white magic? Well, none of these are really good either. Really need to worry about any of these. All right. I'll save my money for right now. White magic is good, but it's also, It's kind of like magic in. I mean, I guess we should get a level 4 spell. We literally have all these slots. We have nothing to do with them. I don't really care about being. You hardly ever get silenced. All right, I guess I'll just get cure poison. All right, so let's go wake up the prince. We are here to save the day. Where is this prince? Did I miss the prince? Oh, yes. I literally walked past his chamber. Oops. This Jolt tonic may be just what we need to break the curse and awaken the prince. I will try it at once. Your Highness? Your Highness. He's waking up. Oh my God, it's a miracle. And he wakes up and he's immediately like, you're the legendary warriors. I shall heed the legend, as it was told to me as my forefathers. The time for me to pass on the Mystic Key. Strong. We have obtained the Mystic Key. Now the power for us is... We gave the prince a white monster. Oh, man. It's 1:30 a.m. I could go for a white monster. We have brought peace back to Elfheim. Wow, we are just so awesome. We are really awesome. Now, we have to go back to all those places that had the Mystic Key. So remember, there were places up in the the Western Keep. There were places up at in the middle of the dungeon. And yes, there's even a place back here. This treasure room has been secured with the Mystic Key. Haha, get out of my way, bitch. Look at that. Load it up, boys. Mithril motherfucking hammer. 800 gil. 700 gil. Bronze gloves. All right. All right, well, the Mithril Hammer's not better for him, but you know who the Mithril Hammer is better for? Upgrade time, baby. All right. And we got the bronze gloves equipped as well. All right. All right, so our first mass looting has occurred. Ooh, we just got an achievement. Rookie Treasure Hunter. We have collected treasure from 10% of the chests in the game. It's kind of cool. All right, so what we're going to do now is just going to run around and go collect our loot that is owed to us. So first stop is going to be back to Cornelia, back to the castle of Cornelia. Because there was in the castle, that's right, treasure vaults locked with the Mystic Key. And then we'll go get our treasure, we'll go get our loot, we'll go get some TNT, and then we'll call it a night. Massive! Look at the White Mage crushing for 60. I'm pretty sure I could drink a white monster and then go to bed. I'm not exaggerating. Uh-oh, big guy's just paralyzed our monk. That's all right. AoE lightning is going to take care of all these motherfuckers. Oh, come on. A big part of the reason I actually use AoEs and in this game is just to like quickly clean up, you know, trash. And deal with that. By the way, for those of you who may be wondering, then in this version of the game, they did fix the Peninsula of Power, so that is not an exploit that we can take advantage of in order to grind levels. For those of you who do not know what the Peninsula of Power is, there was a bug in the game where a very high level random encounter table accidentally clipped a part of the early part of the game. And if you went there when you were too low level, you would just instantly get killed. But if you were about the level we are now, you could go there and fight really high level monsters and get a lot of experience points and a lot of treasure. Now, these were tough fights, but it was basically like being able to, fight boss fights endlessly. And so it was really, really quick to get a lot of gold and treasure. Not an option in this version of the game. So we can't do that. We have to... Oh, did I miss the Mystic Key? Oh, here it is. Gotta go all the way around. I'm getting confused in this castle. The treasure room has been secured with the Mystic Key. Ooh. Saber. Lightsaber? No, just a saber. Mithril knife. Cottage. Tent. Iron armor. Uh-oh. We obtained the nitro powder. In the original game, that was called TNT. All right. Well, the saber is a downgrade for us, so we'll be selling the saber, unfortunately. But we do finally get to equip our boy here with a better knife. Oh, Jake, I do not I love puppies, man, but crate training and housebreaking is like the worst. All right. Do we have all of our level 1 spells that we want? No, we'll get them. I mean, they're cheap as hell. We might as well finish up getting our level 1 spells here, just so we have them all. We don't actually will ever need any of these, but they're cheap enough. All right. So let us go over. Now we have the nitro powder. Now the problem is, in order for us to continue our quest, we need to break out of this area that we're in, and unfortunately, this Aldean Sea is currently blocked off. If we had talked to a bunch of NPCs, they would have told us that there was, due to the earthquakes that have been occurring over the last, however many years, the pass, or the canal that used to lead to the great outer ocean has collapsed. And so we used to be able to leave and travel to the wider ocean, but now we cannot because of the earthquakes that have begun to destroy the land. Again, there's no real story in Final Fantasy, but the idea is that this world is falling apart because the elemental energies are completely out of sync with one another. And so right here used to be able to leave, but now this has been, collapsed. So, oh my God. Now, if you remember, early in the game, a fight like this almost TPK'd us. I think it killed 2 of our party members on our way when we were leaving Provoca. We had like a full screen of Sahagin. And now, with 1 spell, the Black Mage just takes them all out. Love it. So we are going to take a look at our map, and we can see that there is something. Dragon Warrior has a fair number of random encounters. For sure. It's been a long time since I played Dragon Warrior. I know that they're doing these like 2D. Oh, we've just defeated 500 monsters. I know they're doing these like 2D, 3D remasters of Dragon Warrior or something, and I think that'd be kind of fun to replay. Mount Durgar. Lally ho! Ooh, we stole some money from the dwarves. Stole some more money from the dwarves. With a crystal eye, even the blind can see. I hear that dark elf Astos nicked the one belonging to Matoya. Even these dwarves are Scottish. Hiya Gab or Smith. Smythe? In the smithy he is. Oh, we already have a smith. His name is Smith. That sound? Aye, that's Nerrick. He's smashing rocks in the back of the cave. Well, we need to go find Nerrick. If only I had some of the legendary metal adamantite to be able to craft such a magical sword, which we will get. Now, by the way, random conversation had at the beginning, near the beginning of the game, we get adamantite like in the final dungeon or the second to final dungeon, and then we can come back here and get Excalibur. If you remember. Worm Killer, Ether, Potion, Great Helm, Tent. Oh my God. Gil, Mithril Mail. Oh my God, we're about to have a glow the fuck up. All right, Worm Killer. Attack goes up and accuracy goes up. What an upgrade. All right. Head, leather cap becomes a great helm. Now you'll notice as we get more heavily armored, okay, our defense is going down. So our defense is 18. Our defense is now 33, but our evasion is getting worse, I should say, because the heavier the equipment is, the lower your evasion gets. But our fighter is all in on this. Now this is an interesting choice. I'm going to move the chat a little bit so you guys can see. I'm not going to make this choice, by the way. So this is one of those situations where, unfortunately, we're not really going to be able to do much with this item, even though it's really good, which is the Mithril Mail boosts our evasion tremendously, but because it's not that heavy, but it doesn't offer as much protection, raw protection, as just flat out iron armor. So even though it's really cool, I'd rather have the defense. I don't care if my fighter gets hit. I just don't want to take damage. Nitro powder. The explosive force in that powder will have that canal open in no time flat. I owe ya, Barnes. All right, so he's going to go and he's going to use the nitro powder to blow open the canal, which was destroyed through the earthquakes. Now we can blast this rock to smithereens. The powder is set to blow. Run! Note the location I was just showing you. Awesome. Look at those cutting edge graphics. Love it. And I'm not even joking, by the way. I love it. I'd rather see this than like some 8K cutscene like almost any day. This is all I need. I hate to say it. It's all I need. I'm an old man. What can I say? I cannot wait to see what lies out there besides... No, well, that... Yeah. All right, well... There we go. So now we can go explore the rest of the world. Truly. Really has opened up a lot of options for us. But if we want to be completionists, and we do, then we still need to go back technically to the Western Keep, because that had a treasure vault locked with the Mystic Key. And we need to go back technically all the way to the bottom of the Marsh Cave again to open up all those caves that were locked with the key. So, but it's almost 2 a.m. So, we'll probably just go to the keep. I don't feel like going and doing the cave again tonight. So. Ooh, 6 hits. Look at that. Bob is just crushing face. Wrecking face, I should say. Hopefully you guys have a cool plan. Anybody gaming? Planning on gaming this weekend? Did you game tonight? Obviously, we did not game tonight. Bob had some sort of social event. He was in downtown Willoughby. There's actually a new bookstore that's open in our local downtown. But I don't mean like downtown Cleveland. I mean like our local little city that I live in. And it's a new bookstore called Viridian. And it's apparently a bookstore, but it's like it's a fantasy and supernatural bookstore. And I guess they have like, signups and rooms for like people to play D&D and stuff in. I haven't checked it out yet, but Bob said he was thinking about checking it out. I don't know if he did or not. And then, but unfortunately, our group is kind of all over the place. Tim's mom got hurt, and he's been helping take care of her. Our buddy Kaz had a surgery, so he's been kind of laid up. But yeah, so this weekend I pretty much have no plans. But I'm gonna go ice skating tomorrow, I think, or Sunday. Unfortunately, before COVID, the ice rink that's local in my area used to have a lunch skate every day of the week. Well, at least Monday through Friday. And then they have like their Saturday and Sunday skates. But ever since COVID, they have gotten rid of those. And now there's only skates on Friday. They have a Friday afternoon, a Friday lunch, Saturday lunch, Sunday lunch. Cinnabos cannot find any games. I am terrible at reaching out. Well, Cinnabos, I mean, you could always try to find a game on Night's Last Call. Again, one of my goals, I said this at the end of my stream the other day, is I want to sort of streamline the process that we have for getting games organized, and I want to make it more visible, higher visibility. I want to get more players playing. I want to get more gamers, more GMs running. I mean, we already have a lot of GMs running games, but I want to figure out ways that I can incentivize and reward them even more. Now, obviously, I have certain mitigating circumstances because I don't have, the kind of money that I used to have, to financially reward people. And so I can't just pay GMs for running games. But hopefully we can figure out something that I can do. Maybe I can use some of my connections that I have made through going to all these conventions and, hanging out and meeting people because of, Stephen Glicker and the opportunities that, he's afforded to me through, our mutual beneficial relationship. And anyway, maybe I can get some game companies to kind of, sponsor our channel and maybe agree to send out some free product, free PDFs, maybe some free hardcovers, and maybe I can make that as part of an offering to people who run games on our channel and for our patrons and stuff. I'd love to be able to do that. That's like a huge goal for me. Oh yeah, Profound Dark. I have Flashpoint. I don't have Flashpoint Legacy, but I have Flashpoint. Firefighting game. I didn't know they made a Legacy game of that, but it makes sense that they did. I like that. Like, that was a fun game. Like with the hot spots, they weren't on fire, but they could flash over, and it kind of reminds you of, and like how in Pandemic, right? How like you can have outbreaks, and because of the way the deck works, those spots can potentially become hot spots again. So I always thought that was kind of it was a cool way of taking the pandemic generator cycle and converting it into a slightly different theme. I didn't play it a ton, though. I did own it. I mean, I do own it, but I didn't play it a lot. All right. Give me my treasure. Monsters! Wraiths, huh? Those are scary. Not. Leave her alone! Why are you attacking my mages? Yeah, I was about to say, these guys could paralyze. All right, this is going to wipe them out. White mage, gonna white mage. The chest contained the falchion. And it's worse than the dragon slaying sword. Now, to be fair, we are in a situation that because we have 2 mages and because we have a monk, we literally only need 1 sword. But if we had a party, like we were talking about earlier, where we had a warrior in our first spot, and then we had a thief, and then we had 2 red mages, everybody would need a sword, right? Everybody would need a good weapon. We just happen to have a party that doesn't really need a good weapon, you know, like, so we're just kind of in that situation. Oh, there's other monsters. Mummies. All right. Guess what we're going to do? You got it. You know that. I don't think there's anything more satisfying than when, like, the cleric or the white mage just gets to just completely destroy the things. I did see that they are making a new Mummy movie. They are apparently, number 1, ignoring the fact that the Mummy 3 ever happened, which is good. The movie was bad. I mean, obviously it didn't have Rachel Weisz in it, so it was already bad, but they're just ignoring that. Number 2, I saw that Brendan Fraser is coming back. Rachel Weisz is coming back. His name escapes me, but the guy who plays Jonathan is coming back. Awesome. I don't know if they're bringing back whatever his name is, Arnold Vosloo or whatever, but it'd be sweet if they were. Oh, they even gave us a preemptive strike. They jumped, by the third time that undead monsters jumped out of the chest, I'd like to think that we were pretty prepared for it, but. Look at that. The white mage just owned all those encounters. Hey, everybody leveled up at the same time. How satisfying is that? I will stand by the fact that I think that Rachel Weisz in The Mummy might be the most attractive any living being has ever been in existence. But I will also say this. I love The Mummy, but I think The Mummy Returns is the quintessential D&D movie. I think that movie is amazing. I think every character in that movie is awesome. I love the kid in that movie. Normally kids in movies are boring and they're annoying or they're just, I loved their son. I thought he was so cool. I actually liked him as a character. He was a great mix of Rick and Evie, but he also was a lot like his uncle Jonathan, which I really loved. The movie had a great little Easter eggs. I thought Mummy's great, but Mummy Returns, I think that's like a D&D adventure movie. All right. Okay level for our fighter. Ugh. I mean, I like to see the stamina go up, but man, Bob needs more hit points. Look at our white mage is almost at 300 hit points. Bob is barely over 200. That is an absolutely shitty level for our black mage. No stat improvements. 2 HP. Ugh. We got the steel gloves. All right, well, those are probably better than the bronze gloves, aren't they? They sure are. Evasion's going down. Defense is going up. It's what we like to see. All right. All right. We'll go back to Elftown, and we'll call it a night. We can go get those stuff in the bottom of the Marsh Cave later. Okay, poll question. I don't even know who's still here. By the way, remember, if you want to subscribe on Twitch and you haven't done so, you can support us for free. Twitch.tv/Knights of Last Call. We'd love to use your free Amazon Prime sub. Support us. Be awesome. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Quick poll before we end the night. Okay. All right. If this were your D&D party, which character warrior? All right. New poll is up. All right, if this was your D&D party, which character would you want to be? The warrior, the monk, the white mage, or the black mage? You can use 1, 2, 3, 4 to vote. In before nobody votes for white mage. Again, you know, the problem is the white mage is so cool and so fun and so valuable in these multi-party games. But it is just so boring to play in a normal game. It just is. All right, before we save, I want to go get some more antidotes just in case. By the way, we went into that with 99. And we ended up using almost 30. And we went into there with like 30 antidotes, and we used 20 of them, so. Let's get another 20. That should be good. Let's make it 40. Okay, we're going to sell. All right, now I'm selling my Phoenix down. I said I wouldn't use it, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to sell it. I'll sell it. I'll take the money for it. Now, as much as it kills me, we are going to sell this mithril mail for 3,000. It's very light. This would be a fantastic piece of armor if we had a thief or a red mage, but we don't. So it gets sold. And there's really no reason for us to have the power staff, but we'll keep it around for a little bit anyways, just in case. Okay. So we're sitting on 21K gil, which is good, because we're about to go to Melmond. And like I said, next time we play, we'll hop over to the Marsh Cave. We'll run down there real quick. We'll grab those chests at the bottom, and then we'll make our way across the sea to the wider world. So again, now we have access to the entire map basically via our ship. And so we're going to be headed to this western part of the continent, and where we know that the earthquakes have been coming from, and the earth is beginning to rot and fall apart. So it should be an interesting time here in the land of Final Fantasy. We're level 17, which is perfect. Because like the next part of the game, I like to be about level 20, and give or take, and we'll be good there. So I'll save one more time, make sure. All right. Cool, cool, cool. All right, how do I close this? There we go. So, the final results of the poll were Black Mage wins. Fantastic. All right, everybody. Well, that was a lot of fun. We finished up chapter 2 there. We've got the we rescued the prince. Or I should say we revived the prince. We've gotten access to the new ocean. We've got a bunch of money. We've leveled up. So next time we will be investigating the rotting earth, the town of Melmont, and the ancient earth cave, and the horrors that wait within, leading up to our first battle with a fiend. So thanks everybody for hanging out with me while I played a little games tonight. I wish we were playing more RPGs, but you know what? I'll settle for Final Fantasy. I know I was gonna play about once a week. I know the last time I played was like 3 weeks ago, but it is the way it is. But again, this will be a VOD available on our YouTube channel, so if you want to check it out there, please do so. But of course, remember to follow us here and on our main channel, and we'll catch you next time on Knights of Last Call. Bye, everybody. Game night.